And so it's like
Okay. We're going to be calling council member Powers to participate by telephone.
Hello?
Ms. Powers?
Yes.
Hi, this is Amy Cowan. I'm here tonight for Thomas Mitchell.
Hi, Katie.
Hey, we're about ready to get started. Just wanted to make sure we had you on the line and you could hear us.
I can, thank you.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order tonight, August the 1st, 2019, at the city of Hoschton. Roll call.
Councilwoman Minnie Kewart.
Present.
Councilman Jim Cleveland.
Present.
Councilwoman Hope Weeks.
Present.
And Councilwoman Susan Powers.
Present?
Okay. And then, if we'll stand, Ryan Harrison is going to lead us in a word of prayer.
Alright, so then we bow our head first. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for guidance and wisdom and support as they begin this meeting, Father, and help them to engage in a meaningful discussion and allow them to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of the community, Father. And fill us with your grace, Lord God, and as they make decisions that they may affect the staff and the citizens of this community and friends of the city of Hoschton, Georgia. Continue to remind us that all we do here today and that all that they accomplish is for the pursuit of the truth for the glory of you, God, and for the service of humanity. And we ask all these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Thank you, Lord.
Okay, and we will stay standing for the pledge by Dale Hall.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, on our minutes, the June the 27th, for work session and public hearing minutes, does anybody need to change anything there? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along. Any changes in the July 1 regular city council meeting minutes? Does anybody need to change anything in that? You're good? Okay. All right, and then new business. Rachel, I'm gonna let you get up if you don't mind and talk about the 2019 budget amendment resolution.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have the 2018 budget amendment before you this evening. We have now passed mid-year in our fiscal year, so it's time to just evaluate our revenues and expenditures, address any overs or unders that we anticipate from our original budget that we adopted at the beginning of the year. So I want to go over those items in summary. I understand everybody has had a chance to go through this in some detail, so I won't spend any additional time here on that this evening. What you have, the first 5 pages is the narrative of the adjustments that we're including in the fiscal year 19 budget amendment, and these are meant to accompany the schedules that are in the second half of your packet. So in the schedules, you've got the last column is an increases and decreases column, and all of the items in the narrative provide detail on those increases and decreases. So like I said, we'll go over those in summary now. On the first page of your narrative, we address general fund revenues. There are several items that are just assessing whether we've received amounts over or under anticipated but original budget amounts, and those include your lost taxes, your business and occupation taxes, building, signs, and zoning and land use. You'll notice an increase in building and signs. We will see an increase on the expense side that's associated with that for the split. Okay, so you'll recognize that later. That is a large item, and additional details are provided in the monthly financial reports that reflect what those overages are related to. The other large item is your refuse collection charges. If you remember, when we adopted the budget, we moved the revenue and the expenses from the enterprise fund to the general fund. Upon reflection and discussion with colleagues, it's certainly most appropriate in the enterprise fund, so this is just rectifying that, getting it back enough. And the last item in your revenues is contributions and donations, and that is for the Darby building renovation. You'll see that expense as we discuss the expense side. So that's a quick overview of the revenue changes in the general fund. So the expenditure changes in the general fund start on the bottom of that first page, and we discuss personnel services and employee benefits first. You've got several changes here associated with the new administrator contract, as well as prorating the old contract and the new contract for the terms that fall in the fiscal year. Additionally, we have reallocated some individuals' time to better reflect where their work effort is located, so whether it be the general fund or the water and sewer fund. Additionally, the next item is the general government professional services. That's the same type of reallocation for my services, acknowledging that I'm spending time on the water and sewer fund as much as I am on the general fund. So we're splitting that cost. You will also see on this page 2 the expense side of the disposal fees that correlates to the refuse collection charges we just discussed in revenues. And then some other cleanup items on down the line that are just small in nature but help us best reflect our budget as it reflects our actual activity for the year. If you turn to page 3, at the very top we discuss general fund balance. When we originally adopted the budget, fund balance in the general fund reflected a use of fund balance of approximately $149,000. The activity in the first half of the year has allowed us to make adjustments to revenues and expenditures that result in a budgeted surplus of approximately $10,000. So we've definitely bettered our position in the first half of this year. We go on to discuss our other smaller funds, our grant fund and our SPLOST fund. We're doing some housekeeping here. In our grant fund, we are acknowledging that there's some unspent LMIG money that falls into fiscal year 19 and not 18, so some accounting housekeeping there. And in the SPLOST fund is also some accounting housekeeping. We've had discussions with management about whether we intend to use SPLOST funds for the water and sewer transfers out, and it has come to the determination that we will not. So this is reversing that budget appropriation. And then finally, our water, sewer, and garbage fund. In here, you will see in the revenue side the move of those refuse collection charges back into the enterprise fund, an increase for sewer and water tap fees over anticipated amounts, and then a small decrease in miscellaneous revenue. Additionally, on page 4 in the revenue section, we are acknowledging and budgeting for developer contributions associated to Twin Lakes, and on the other side, removing that SPLOST transfer in. On the expenditure side, in your water, sewer, garbage fund, we've got those the moves of personal services and employee benefits, as well as my services, moving into the water, sewer fund budget. And that's really the only adjustments to the expenditure side in the water, sewer, garbage fund. The last piece, and finally, is the capital projects, and that is on your page 5. What you have here is when we adopt the original budget, the audit isn't complete, and we don't have final capital project spending accrued. So we adopted a tentative budget, and then we do an amendment to pick up those final 2018 carryover costs. And that's what you see here. The capital project was finished, and we're not going to continue work on the project. It's in the closed column. If it's being carried over into the next fiscal year, it's in the carryover column, and then you'll see our fiscal year 19 budget. So the last column is our resulting project budget. And the fund balance for your water, sewer, garbage fund, we originally adopted a fund balance of a surplus of $219,000. And you'll see that these changes are going to result in a budgeted surplus of approximately $604,000. that is a really quick down and dirty of our budget amendment. It's all, for the most part, very routine, but I'd like to open it up for any questions, see if I can elaborate on anything or research anything for you.
Do you have anything? You guys?
I'm good.
Okay. I'm not at public input. Is there something particular you'd like to ask, Rachel?
Yes, I mean, we had discussed before when Mr. Cleveland did not read his board packet. What about getting a new garbage contract? I mean, we cannot recycle.
I'll have to look into.
I mean, Ms. Weeks had proposed that we go back to White Oak.
Yeah,
And-
I'll answer that question. We're still in the process of redoing that RFP and putting that out. We
Okay.
anticipate it going out very soon, but right now we're still working up exactly what the citizens want and what the council wants on those as relates to, the first proposal that went out didn't necessarily take into consideration what everybody wants, so we're making sure that when this goes out, we will have exactly, or we hope to get what the citizens wanted, so.
How will the
that'll be going out.
citizen input be brought forth?
Citizens have been calling and emailing ever since we tabled that one RFP. So, I welcome any emails that come on in. And the RFP will be drafted up and brought to the city council, and the attorney will be looking through it, and then we'll be ready to put it out after that time.
Thank you. Anybody got any questions for Rachel? Okay, seeing none, Rachel.
Thank you very much
so
for your time.
Thank you, Rachel.
Have a good evening.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go to some old business and the rezoning case, number RZ-19-02. Justin, would you like to? Okay, thank you, sir.
Hey, this is the rezoning case that y'all saw last month. Since then, we have received a few more comments, both positive and negative. Most of them don't have anything to do with the actual rezoning of the case. Most of them will be handled in the actual development review process, along with the plan review process. Remember, this property lies within the state route through overlay district. If y'all have any questions, I think we've answered most of the citizen questions for y'all in the one-on-ones.
So you've made some telephone calls.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So, if y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But that's about it. It's just a
Anything?
rehash from last month.
Okay, thank you so much, Justin. We appreciate
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
Okay, and then the amendment to the ethics ordinance, consideration to update the ethics ordinance. Dale, I'm gonna give you that.
Certainly. We have been working on, we had an original ordinance set forth last meeting, and there were some requests from city council to amend some of those items. We have put together another draft that went out to city council just recently. Unfortunately, I'm not sure everyone has had adequate time to go through that. I am going to make a recommendation to this mayor and city council that this item be tabled for further review because of the timing that you've had to review that. And we want to make sure that this ordinance meets all the requirements that are set forth in our charter. So that is a recommendation from, again, the city administrator, and of course, we will proceed as the mayor and city council wishes for us.
Thank you, Dale. Okay, reports, mayor's report, I don't have
Can I
anything.
make a comment before we move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Are we still on the ethics ordinance?
Yes.
Okay, I respectfully, Dale, I really think we need to work this one because the citizens have been very patient for a couple of months. And I realize we just got it today, which is unfortunate, but I encourage us to go ahead and let's file through on this one. And if we have questions, we've got until Monday to get those addressed.
Okay, that will be taken under consideration.
Again, I will proceed as the city council and the mayor wishes. This is going to be placed on the agenda for Monday, and the city council can decide what they wish to do with that at that time. If there are questions or comments or things that need to be addressed, feel free to call me at the office, email me what it is, and I'll get with our city attorney, and we'll try to put forth revisions or amendments to that and bring you forth something that you can review as soon as possible.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, the only thing that I have is I want to give Jennifer kudos. Jennifer, how many children did you help with the backpacks and all the supplies for school and haircuts and?
I'm not sure exactly how many children, but we had 500 book bags that we gave away. We had over 4,000 school supplies.
Wow. I have to give you kudos. I have been told several times that you have no idea what that meant to some of these families. So I appreciate you putting forth all that effort and getting that done, and anybody that gave or came and helped, I hope you're blessed by it. Okay, and then Administrator, do you have anything?
I just want to say that we're continuing to work on a lot of the projects we have moving forward for water and sewer upgrades and developments, for road improvements and developments, and we're making good progress, and we'll keep the citizens and the council up to date on the projects we're working on.
Thank you. I have no reason for executive session unless someone else does. All right, then we will go into citizen input, and we have Amy tonight with us.
I'm going to read some directions into to everyone, and hopefully I am not. Ms. Powers, are you still there?
I am.
Okay, good. Okay, toward the end of the meeting, there will be time for public comment. That time is now. Those that signed up before the meeting will be able to address the mayor and council for 3 minutes each. The mayor and council will listen to your comments and concerns. On advice of outside counsel as a result of threatened or potential litigation, they cannot respond, comment, or answer any questions. That is not to say you cannot pose questions or that they would be out of order, but do not expect the mayor or council members to respond. Likewise, one should not interpret the lack of response as acquiescence or agreement with the speaker's statements. It is a time for the public to comment, but will not be a time for dialogue or engagement. I will be keeping time. When your 3 minutes expire, the alarm will sound and you will need to stop. There are many people here tonight that wish to speak, and the time limits must be strictly adhered to. The city council will not tolerate disruption of the meeting by members of the audience. If after a warning from the presiding officer, any person continues to disrupt the meeting by his or her words or actions, the presiding officer may request that person to leave the room and then seek assistance from law enforcement officials to have the person removed from the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Okay, and y'all have to help me just a little bit. If I pronounce your name wrong, please forgive me. Sherry.
Coulomb.
Thank you, Sherry.
All right. Greetings, everybody. First of all, I wanted to just let the congregation behind me know that this is available, the public packet.
Excuse me, Sherry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
To us.
Okay.
And,
Yes.
and you need to give me your address.
Yes, and that's another concern I'll address in a minute. But Sherry Coulomb, 585 Amaranth Trail, in the
Thank
city of Hoschton, in jurisdiction.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You know, I should know this routine by now. My first concern was what, I forgot, I'm sorry.
Amy.
Miss Amy had said, which is that not a congressman, but a councilman is not allowed to respond. When I called out Mr. Cleveland for not reading his board packet and being the only one to reject the white oak thing, he shoe-flied me. So does that include sign language?
They are just not going to respond to any questions tonight.
Well, no, I'm not asking that, I'm just saying, does sign language include and responding, because, you know, I'm not flying away.
Well, I mean, you can interpret it however you like.
That's how I interpret it. Second of all, safety and security. As you can see, probably behind me, I can't turn around, but cell phones are out. I just gave my address publicly. My husband's afraid, with me speaking out and being bold and being brave and being concerned about the city of Hoschton and believing in the city of Hoschton, that what if some crazy person comes out and shoots at my house? What's gonna happen? They could post that on social media. I called 3 state officials today who are on either the former senators or current House of Representatives. They did not know, because I was told by Mr. Hall that it was a state mandate. Is it a state mandate, or is it a local jurisdiction decision? Because if it is a local jurisdiction decision, I would really like for us to make an amendment on that. Because it is very unsafe to have people knowing and posting online people's addresses. It is very disconcerting. My last thing I want to say is, last meeting, so many people got up here brave enough to speak. I'm a very observant person. I'm an educator. I teach 900 kids a week. People were sitting up here shaking, just trying to get their message across. I applaud them. That's all I have to say for today.
Thank you, ma'am. Scott Butler?
Good evening. Sorry that we're not moving forward quicker on things. Scott Butler, 148 Deer Creek Trail, Hoschton, Georgia, 30548.
Thank you.
So my comments are, the mayor of Hoschton has potentially and likely committed a crime. The evidence that I have seen from news reports indicates she's discriminated against a gentleman who may have been the best candidate for the city administrator position. 3 city council persons heard the comment and have responded about it. I'm guessing the silent council person, Ms. Keyword, also heard the racist comments and witnessed the discriminatory action. There seem to be a few people in the community who want to prop up the mayor, Mr. Cleveland, and what really needs to be understood, this isn't personal. This is about the facts, they be exposed, and that we can get an honest and non-judgmental council and mayor. And my question to those people that are against trying to find out the facts is, what if your child or grandchild, spouse or friend is kept from a job due to some form of discrimination? Would you still be supporting people that discriminate? If indeed the mayor is innocent of withholding a candidate's resume from the meeting because of his race, there's an easy way to prove it. There's over 40 ethics complaints filed. We need to hire an arbitration judge or a judge experienced in mediation. Let them hear all the evidence, see all the evidence, swear people in under oath, hear from maybe employees about what kind of language is used in office staff meetings, and get the truth out there. Then all this will go away. Everybody in this room will be happy, and we'll know the truth. So stalling on stuff isn't getting us to the truth. It's keeping us from the truth. I would think the mayor and Jim would love to have it all heard, and if they're innocent, they'll all go away. So let's move. Let's quit sitting on it. The lame excuse that they can't speak because of outside litigation. If we brought in a judge and they swore everybody in, I can't think of an insurance company on earth that wouldn't love to hear that their potential lawsuits would go away because they were innocent. So I can't believe that an insurance company would say, no, don't tell the truth, don't get it out there because it will make all lawsuits go away. So if we brought forth the judge that could hear all this, done. No more insurance problems, no more lawyer problems, no more people in here thinking, is it the truth or is it not the truth? Is it he said, she said? The oath. So I'm guessing the insurance company probably knows the truth. That's why they're suppressing the information. So I'm asking that the mayor, Mr. Cleveland, and Ms. Keeler put up the evidence, let the judge rule, or resign and let the city move forward as if it's 2019, not 1959. A lot has changed since 1959, and y'all need to change too. Thanks.
Yes, excuse me.
Pete Fuller, 200 Miss Jefferson. I actually want to reiterate pretty much.
Excuse me, you live in the city of Hoschton? Okay.
City of Jefferson.
Okay.
Basically, what Mr. Butler just defined was a great solution for the issue. So for reiterate, we're at 3 months now from when these complaints were filed. If I remember right, city code says they should have been dealt with, within a week or two. That's right. And I know that there's not been a board to deal with it, but that's not the problem of the residents that file these complaints. That is the problem of the city. And now we're seeing delay after delay after delay on this. There's no reason for this delay. And Mr. Butler just outlined a great solution for it. I think a lot of people would be very happy with it. I don't think there's any reason to delay it. Get it before a judge for this. That's what we're asking. Because it looks like the delays at this point are deliberate, just to try to keep pushing it on and find a way to not deal with it. We want it dealt with. That's what we want. Thank you.
Thank you. Governor Green? Good evening, Ellen.
Teresa and council members. I live at 122 Pheasant Run, Hoschton, Georgia, 30540. Tonight I'm going to comment on a former council person's stirring speech about leadership. I completely agree that leadership can be challenging and lonely. However, leaders are merely people who make mistakes, as we all do. One thing that everyone in this room values is our democratic system of government, which provides checks and balances so that no one branch becomes too powerful. In Hoschton, the mayor is the executive, the council is the legislature, and unfortunately, they have no oversight because the mayor pro tem failed to establish an ethics committee as mandated in the charter. Therefore, we citizens who are concerned about recent racist remarks and slurs have resorted to another democratic practice, peaceful protest. No one is endangered by our calls for change. We are simply exercising our rights. Mayor Kennerly broke a federal law when she withdrew from consideration Keith Henry's application for Hoschton City Administrator based on his race. Her comment that Hoschton was not ready for that was completely inaccurate. Her former neighbor is an African Methodist Episcopal church, one of the oldest congregations in the vicinity. Perhaps she does not remember Dorothy Peppers, a black councilwoman who served Hoschton until 2005. Mayor, have you ever noticed the many minority and mixed-race couples shopping in local grocery stores with their adorable mixed-race children? Let's not forget grandparents like Richard and I, who are completely in love with our big biracial grandson. Visit our local medical plaza and hospital, and you will encounter many minority professionals working at every level, including my personal primary care physician, my surgeon, and my dermatologist. Hoschton has long passed the point of being ready. We are welcoming and inclusive of all people who want to join our community as productive citizens. Your assessment of our readiness was an insult to all residents of Hoschton, white or minority. Jim Cleveland's vile remarks about boiling blood and racial purity were hate-laden and inaccurate, especially as they were cloaked in the guise of Christianity. Any geneticist or biologist will tell you that differences among races are completely superficial. We all belong to the same group, and that is the human race. All members are welcome in Hoschton to work, play, and govern. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Judy Hall?
Judy Hall, 190 Doe Ridge, Hoschton. I agree with everything that's been said tonight, but I want to change the subject just for a second, and that's road repair. I live in Deer Creek. It's been months, and our roads are not fixed, and that intersection is horrible. So I would like to know if y'all have a time frame for the repairs and the cleanup. We have 6 houses in a subdivision for sale. Who wants to buy when you come in to one that looks like this? So do you have a time frame? We need to move forward with a lot of things, and this is one of them.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, and then Andrea? to know your last name?
Andrea Sibley, and I'm not a resident of Hoschton, but I have a concern about what's going on in the community, what's going on in the world, and I just want to address the council as well as the members of the community that are here. For me, it's not appropriate to turn my back to those I wanted to speak to, but if the council just doesn't want me to do that, then that's fine. So I'm asking, may I turn?
You really need to face us.
Okay. I didn't grow up here and I don't live here, but I came here today because I'm troubled of where we are in society. I'm troubled with the situation that has touched this community. I'm troubled how easy it is to make an allegation and immediately we believe it to be true. Our world revolves around click and share. I see it on social media, click and share. I forward an email, click and share. I see a headline, I click and share. See a post on Facebook, oh, this little puppy needs to find a home. Click and share 24 times, and then finally someone pipes in and says, this is from 2015, I think the puppy's found a home. So I'm wondering how many of you truly know the facts about the headlines that are going on in this city, or did you just click and share? So the mayor's white and Mr. Henry's black, so it has to be racism, right? I mean, I read it on the internet. Here's something else I read on the internet. Mr. Henry withdrew his application for unrelated reasons to take another position. Something else I read. This is from a resident of this community. She said, I grew up here. Some of what the mayor said is right. The city is more white, but I don't think that what she said meant to be racist. So two people that are directly affected by this community don't think this is racism. But we're so quick to judge. Why? I'm going to conclude with these thoughts, and I want you to really think about this. Have you ever felt the need to look out for someone that might be entering an uncomfortable environment? What if your son wanted to take ballet? What if your daughter wanted to play baseball? Would you look out for them? Would you be worried that they were in an uncomfortable environment?